The fourth process is estimate activity resources. This is the process of estimating the type and quantities of material, human resources, equipment, or supplies required to perform each activity. The key benefit of this process is that it identifies the type, quantity, and characteristics of resources required to complete all activities, which allows for more accurate cost and duration estimates. The ITTOs for the Estimate Activity Resources process are as follows. Let's take a look at the key inputs for this process. The Schedule Management Plan, which identifies the level of accuracy and the units of measure for the resources to be estimated. The Activity List. It identifies the activities that will need resources. The Activity Attributes. They provide the primary data input for use in estimating those resources required for each activity in the activity list. Resource Calendars. This comes from the Project Human Resource Management knowledge area and identifies the working days and shifts on which each specific resource is available. This includes the availability of human resources, equipment, and material during a planned activity period and is used for estimating resource utilization. The following are the key tools and techniques. Alternative analysis. Many schedule activities have alternative methods of accomplishment. They include using various levels of resource capability or skills, different size or type of machines, different tools, hand versus automated, and make, rent, or buy decisions regarding the resource. For example, you may have the option of either using an excavator or using shovels to move some dirt. Published estimating data. Several organizations routinely publish updated production rates and unit costs of resources for an extensive array of labor trades, material, and equipment for different countries and geographical locations within countries. For example, after reviewing public records, you determine that laying a brick takes approximately 10 minutes for an average mason. Also, we determine the resource quantities required for each activity or WBS component and roll it up to the entire project level. This method of estimating resources is referred to as bottom-up estimating. This can be performed using the WBS or activity list and when the scope is well defined. The outputs are activity resource requirements, which identify the types and quantities of resources required for each activity in a work package. These requirements can then be aggregated to determine the estimated resources for each work package and ultimately for the entire project level. The amount of detail and the level of specificity of the resource requirement descriptions can vary by application area. The resource requirements documentation for each activity can include the basis of estimates for each resource, as well as the assumptions that were made in determining which types of resources are applied, their availability, and what quantities are used. And resource breakdown structure. This is a hierarchical representation of resources by category and type. Examples of resource categories include labor, material, equipment, and supplies. Resource types may include the skill level, grade level, or other information as appropriate to the project. The resource breakdown structure is useful for organizing and reporting project schedule data with resource utilization information. And we'll see these two outputs become the inputs in the next process.